Today, we continue our exploration of NATO countries and turn to Poland, the alliance's eastern cornerstone. Since 2022, no army at peace has rearmed faster than the Polish armed forces. The Russian invasion of Ukraine, combined with Poland's geography and history, has left it little choice. Poland sits on the northern European plain, a flat corridor that for centuries has carried armies between east and west. The same can be said of the Baltic Sea, to which Poland has full access. In recent years, another geographic feature, the Suwalki Gap, has become famous. This narrow stretch of land is the only corridor connecting Latvia, Lithuania, and Estonia to the rest of NATO, while at the same time separating Belarus from the Russian enclave of Kaliningrad. Historically, even after World War II ended, Poland did not regain full autonomy. Instead, it became a Soviet puppet state and a part of the Warsaw Pact. Therefore, its armed forces were built around Soviet doctrine and equipped accordingly. While the army was numerically large, it existed primarily as a part of a broader Soviet war plan rather than as an independent national force. After the collapse of the Soviet Union in the 1990s, at that point, fully independent Poland inherited a massive but outdated military, stockpiled with aging Warsaw Pact equipment and organized for the war with NATO, which would never come. Economic constraints, political transition, and the absence of an immediate threat meant that modernization proceeded slowly. In addition, Poland joined NATO in 1999, gaining security guarantees, but also facing the difficult task of reforming its forces to Western standards while reducing size and professionalizing its ranks. For a time, Europe believed a major land war was unlikely. Poland's military shrank, and much of its Soviet-era equipment remained in service longer than planned. That assumption disappeared entirely in 2022 with the full-scale invasion of Ukraine. With the Russians using Belarus as a corridor to advance on Kiev, hostile rhetoric denying Polish independence altogether, and escalating war on the doorstep, as we already said, Poland had little choice. Large-scale rearmament, convenient transition of old equipment to Poland's main contemporary shield, Ukraine, and overall preparation for a prolonged conflict transformed the Polish army significantly in the last years. And this is what we will discuss next. Starting with the basics, Poland has an estimated population of about 38 million people. Based on the 2026 defense budget, the Polish armed forces are expected to include roughly 160,000 professional soldiers, about 40,000 in the territorial defense forces and active reserve combined, for a total planned military strength of about 200,000 people. With defense spending projected around $55 billion, roughly 4.8% of GDP, Poland will remain one of the highest defense spenders in both Europe and NATO. The main security focus of Poland is deterrence of the Russian aggression on the border with Belarus and the Kaliningrad enclave in a tight cooperation with NATO forces. In essence, since 2022, with both Russia losing certain capabilities and underperforming in certain areas while maintaining a significant advantage in others, the Polish armed forces has accepted the idea that they will have to rely largely on themselves, just as Ukraine, while facilitating as much as possible the soonest NATO involvement in a possible conflict. In peacetime, Poland has only a voluntary contract army. For a full-scale invasion, there is a trained reserve plus TDF that can be activated. This is a general mobilization law in place that applies to all citizens aged from 18 to 60, and this is extremely typical for most European countries. Poland explicitly set a goal to increase the strength of its military to 500,000 by 2039, with 300,000 being active duty personnel and 200,000 reservists, including a newly created High Readiness Reserve. For 2026, the realistic planned figure is about 228,000 total military personnel, meaning the path to 500,000 will require sustained recruitment efforts for well over a decade. Whether this ambitious goal is achievable remains to be seen, particularly given that Poland, like most European countries, faces competition from civilian labor markets and demographic pressures. Polish land forces number roughly 90,000 troops, organized under the Armed Forces General Command, with the Inspector of Land Forces overseeing readiness and doctrine. Operationally, the force is built around 6 divisions: the fully established 11th Armored Cavalry Division, 12th Mechanized Division, 16th Mechanized Division, and 18th Mechanized Division, plus the expanding 1st Legion's Infantry Division, and the 8th Home Army Infantry Division, still in the process of formation. All of those are composed of, on average, 3 armored infantry, and mechanized brigades, each with dedicated reconnaissance, artillery, engineer, logistics, and air defense battalions or regiments. Poland also does not have Marines or air assault forces as separate branches. Very limited rapid reaction and air mobile capability is provided by the 6th Airborne and 25th Air Cavalry Brigades, closely supported by the 1st Army Aviation Brigade. Independent reconnaissance regiments and battalions provide strategic and operational ISR, while engineer and chemical defense regiments deliver specialist support. Sustainment comes from national-level logistics brigades and regiments alongside divisional logistics units. In terms of equipment, the land forces field by any means a large and diverse armored and mechanized fleet. Main battle tanks, totaling to around 875, feature K2, Leopard 2, M1 Abrams, PT-91 Zvarty, and T-72 M1R, with PT-91s and T-72s adding up to roughly 300 vehicles. Apparently almost completely phased out through donations to Ukraine, Poland aims to fully replace them and even increase the number of MBTs with 3 modern variants from South Korea, Germany, and the United States. By late 2025, Poland completed the delivery of all 180 K2 tanks under the first contract and received 117 M1A2 SEP V3 Abrams from the United States. In August of 2025, a second K2 contract worth $6.5 billion was signed for an additional 180 tanks, split between 116 K2GF vehicles to be delivered in 2026 through 2027 directly from South Korea and 64 K2PL vehicles to be domestically assembled at Bumarwabade in Gliwice between 2028 and 2030. The K2PL variant is planned to incorporate trophy active protection systems, counter-UAS capabilities, and enhanced passive armor, reflecting lessons learned from the war in Ukraine. If both the K2 and Abrams pipelines continue on schedule, Poland is on track to field approximately 900 main battle tanks by the end of the decade, potentially exceeding the combined tank fleets of France, Germany, and the United Kingdom. While it might be a smart choice to diversify, we have to note that such a tank fleet is the first indicator of something we will often come back to in this review, namely the increasingly erratic and detached from reality tendencies in some places of, without a doubt impressive by scale, Polish rearmament. We will try to pinpoint the reasons and hazards of this slightly later. The same complicated situation surrounds Poland's 1,500 IFVs, represented mostly by 916 BMP-1s, slowly phased out through donations to Ukraine, and over 600 local Rosomak 8x8 variants, based on the Finnish Patria APC design. Out of the latter, not all are IFVs, with many having no autocannon, so in addition to them, Poland also just started domestic production of true IFVs, Borsuk. The first 15 serial production Borsuks entered service in December of 2025 with the 15th Mechanized Brigade. The first executive contract covers 111 IFVs to be delivered by 2029, with just 3 more arriving in 2026, then 33 in 2027, and 55 across 2028 through 2029. Production is expected to ramp up to approximately 100 vehicles per year by mid-2026 under a dual-shift model. The broader framework agreement envisions up to 1,000 Borsuk IFVs and 400 auxiliary variants based on the same chassis, including command, recovery, reconnaissance, medical, and self-propelled mortar versions, potentially making Borsuk the backbone of Polish mechanized infantry for decades. There are also rumors that from the same company, the Polish land forces might also receive new Ratel IFVs, which are way heavier, 48 tons against Borsuk's 28 tons, indicating advanced armor. Once again, the adoption of wheeled Rosomak, light Borsuk, and heavy Ratel can further put a strain on logistics and maintenance, similar to the adoption of 3 completely different MBTs at the same time. The MRAPs feature a more thought-out approach, with the Polish armed forces operating a limited number of war-tested solid variants. 277 Cougars, 124 MATVs, and 100 Max Pros. To replace the obsolete BRDM-2s and BWR-1s, which are still actively used in recon battalions and companies, Poland plans to domestically produce AMZ Bopr 3 recon vehicles. However, the multi-purpose infantry mobility vehicle of the future will likely be the South Korean K-151 Reykholt, due to plans to produce over 1,600 pieces. The more complex situation is with artillery. Poland still cannot completely phase out its 206 Soviet 122mm 2S1 Gwozdikas, despite efforts to replace them with purchases of modern South Korean K9 155mm self-propelled howitzers totaling 108 pieces. 111 Czech 152mm Danas add another caliber to the mix, making ammunition logistics and production even more complex, as 122 and 152mm are historically Soviet calibers, while the West relies mostly on 105 and 155mm. Yet the good news is Poland also domestically produces howitzers, ASH Crab, which could benefit from both being actively tested in battlefield conditions in Ukraine and efforts at unification between Crab and K9 chassis. In addition to that, Poland invested heavily into self-propelled motors on Rosomak chassis, called ROK, having around 100 of them, with some donated to Ukraine. For the rocket artillery, Poland had 131 pieces of Soviet-grad MLRS variations, but was far-sighted enough to, even prior to 2022, start purchases of US HIMARS, and after 2022, South Korean K239 Chunmoo. Here, we again see the vehicles that basically duplicate each other's capabilities. Both of those are ordered with long-term contracts, with plans to deliver 486 American and 290 South Korean high-precision MLRS systems. This decision was quite clearly influenced by the fact that HIMARS showed incredible performance in Ukraine, but the gap between ambition and reality is striking. Despite plans announced since 2023 to acquire over 486 HIMARS launchers and license-produce GMLRS rockets domestically under the HOMAR-A program, as of 2026, Poland has exactly 20 HIMARS systems in service, of which only 18 are combat-ready, with the remaining 2 used for training. These were ordered back in 2019. The far larger follow-on procurement, which envisioned 18 additional launchers, plus 468 loading systems integrated onto Yeltsin truck chassis, with a price tag of $10 billion, has stalled. Negotiations with the United States have been ongoing since 2023, but they have reached an impasse, primarily because the question of licensing GMLRS rocket production in Poland remains unresolved, and without the rockets, the launchers themselves are pointless. The deliveries of such a large number of MLRS will also take years, with the current annual HIMARS production rate being around 100 pieces. Another question is whether the ammunition will be available for all of these systems, as the latest reports indicated that, specifically for HIMARS, the only producer of GMLRS missiles, Lockheed Martin, was capable of delivering 14,000 per year. Note that not all of these go to Poland, but also to the US Army itself and 8 other confirmed operators, including Ukraine, which still extensively uses the missiles. As for Chunmoos, the situation is better. The Polish HOMAR-K program, based on the K239 Chunmoo, benefits from faster delivery times and growing local production of both vehicles and 239mm guided rockets. Poland has ordered 290 HOMAR-K launchers, and reports indicate that around 90 are already in active service, as they were placed on locally produced trucks after delivery from South Korea. Whether the domestic missile production will be able to fully supply all launchers with quite sophisticated high-precision ammunition still remains the question. Similar to many NATO armies, Poland's land forces still lack sufficient mobile air defenses and rely on a mix of aging Soviet systems, manpads, and a few newer domestic designs. Because many of the legacy systems suffer from missile shortages and obsolescence, Poland has been investing heavily in the British-derived NERU system. At least 6 units are already in service, with a total of 46 on order. However, NERU is still a short-range system, with an engagement radius of roughly 25 to 40 kilometers, meaning that most modern aircraft and standoff weapons can still outrange it. The Polish Army Aviation fields 16 Mi-24 attack and 108 multi-role helicopters, with Soviet ones being actively phased out. To replace the aging attack fleet, Poland signed a $10.8 billion contract for 96 AH-64E Apache Guardian helicopters in August of 2024, with the production contract awarded to Boeing in November of 2025 at nearly $4.7 billion. Deliveries of the new build AH-64E are expected to begin in 2028 and continue through 2032, making Poland the second largest Apache operator globally after the United States. In the interim, all 8 leased AH-64D Apaches from the U.S. Army have been delivered to the 56th Air Base in Inowrocław as of March 2026, and are being used to train pilots and technicians ahead of the main fleet's arrival. To replace the aging multi-role fleet, Poland has also contracted 32 Leonardo AW-149 battlefield utility helicopters under a $1.85 billion deal, with production localized at PZL Świdnik in Poland. As of early 2026, 11 have been delivered. including the first domestically assembled airframe, with the remainder expected through 2029. The AW-149s will eventually replace multiple legacy types, including Mi-8, Mi-17, Mi-2, and W-3 Sokol helicopters, many of which are over 30 years old, part of 2018, and began receiving equipment in 2022, achieving initial operational capability by late 2024. In September of 2023, Poland signed contracts for 6 more Patriot batteries that include 48 launchers with newer radars and other equipment scheduled through 2026 through 2029. The whole Wisla program is actually an effort to transition from the obsolete Soviet S-125 Naval system with a relatively short range of 35 kilometers and few missiles available to a combination of Patriots, aforementioned Nerus, and Politsas, which will combine autocannons and manpads for a very short-range air defense, forming 3 layers. All this will hinge on 24 domestically produced modern early warning P-18PL radars that will start arriving by 2027 to replace, developed mostly in the 80s and 90s, current radars. While these will improve early detection of low and medium altitude targets, the full modernization of Poland's radar network also relies on stationary NUR-12M and RAT-31DL radars, which provide long-range coverage of up to 450 kilometers and multi-target tracking capabilities, coupled with mobile NUR-15M radars to ensure survivability in conflict scenarios. This layered sensor network is integrated via the ASOC command system and Link 16, enabling real-time coordination with NATO AWACS and fighter interceptors, and now also feeds into the unique U.S. Aegis A-Shore missile defense site at Regikowo. The Regikowo base, operational since 2024, adds an upper-tier ballistic missile defense capability using SM-3 Block IIA interceptors, bridging the strategic gap and allowing Poland to more confidently engage longer-range ballistic missiles. However, the September 9, 2025 Russian drone incursion exposed the unprecedented ineffectiveness of the current system against modern threats. Between 19 and 23 Herbera drones crossed into Polish airspace via Ukraine, with only 1 to 4 reportedly intercepted, allegedly by a Dutch F-35, while Gerbera-type decoys penetrated as far as 700 kilometers, disrupting airports and simulating strikes. Otherwise advanced air defense systems were not designed to detect and track very low observable, small, and slow-flying swarms of deep strike drones in complex terrain. Consequently, despite long-range radar coverage, Poland's medium and short-range defenses, including narrow batteries, failed to destroy any targets. Even if they succeeded, this would be economically unviable, similar to shooting down such drones with fighter aircraft. In conclusion, Poland's land forces today represent one of the most rapidly expanding and modernizing armies in Europe, with newborn strengths and weaknesses. In the event of a land conflict with Russia, Poland would bring to the battlefield a large, well-structured mechanized force, backed by strong artillery. Yet this force would be a golden standard for the kind of wars fought before 2022. Since the active introduction of drones, there is no evidence that the MBTs Poland currently uses will provide a significant breakthrough advantage on the battlefield, except for survivability. This is especially true for the K2s, which make up a large portion of the fleet but were never tested even in real combat conditions. The same goes for locally produced Borsuk and other IFVs, which are undeniably more advanced than legacy BMP-1s, but do not feature active protection systems, rigid or elastic anti-drone screens, or narrow armor blocks that could potentially increase survivability against drones. All of this is necessary to protect vulnerable and extremely expensive vehicles and allow them to perform their new roles. For MBTs, sporadic fire support, not breakthrough as before, and for IFVs to deliver forces to drop-off points and conduct limited raids, not continuous infantry support alongside tanks. All of this will be backed by substantial Polish artillery firepower, but how long it can be sustained remains a key question. Probably the most positive part of the whole rearmament is that Poland is truly focusing on localizing production of many vehicles. In a world where it is increasingly clear that there are no permanent allies, only temporary partners, this is a fundamental advantage. Despite skepticism towards the untested South Korean K2 MBTs, K9 howitzers, and K239 Chunmoo systems, if Poland can manage the full production lifecycle of these vehicles and all supporting equipment, it would be a remarkable national defense achievement. Local IFV production, already established, only underscores this point, yet the road to it is still quite rocky. For example, Poland still lacks the capability to service Abrams tank engines domestically and will not have the necessary certified facilities before 2028. Until then, engines would need to be sent to the US for depot-level maintenance, since no such capacity exists in Europe. Here, we naturally transition to the broader topic of equipment standardization. The US Army illustrates the principle well. Each generation sticks to a single MBT Abrams, a single IFV Bradley, a single APC Stryker, a single howitzer M109, a single multi-role F-16, and a single air superiority fighter, the F-15. These are only ever replaced by new generations, such as the F-35 and F-22, not duplicated with multiple variants performing the same role. The advantage is clear. Logistics, training, and maintenance are vastly simplified. By contrast, fielding 3 types of NBTs, 3 types of IFVs, and multiple artillery calibers rarely helps. It actually quietly weakens the force. And we do not want to claim that we are the only ones who understand this. The Polish Higher Military Command likely sees it even better. But to a great extent, rearmament has become not just a military matter, but also a political one. Polish leadership, responding to public concern and likely out of the best intentions, quite clearly went on a shopping spree. Huge EU loans and sky-high military budgets were used to basically clear the shelves of anyone offering modern equipment, without a specific doctrine or clear role for this equipment. Announcing 486 HIMARS launchers may be impressive, and signal a commitment to higher security before elections. But having only 20 in service 3 years later, with no clear path to acquire enough missiles even for those, best describes the negative tendencies in Polish rearmament, which need to be corrected. Continuing with the Polish Air Force, it numbers roughly 19,000 personnel and, like the land forces, is subordinate to the Armed Forces General Command, with an inspector of the Air Force responsible for training standards, doctrine, and readiness. Operational aviation is grouped under tactical, transport, and training wings, supported by air defense and radar units that together form Poland's contribution to NATO integrated air and missile defense. In addition, Poland hosts a well-spread network of 7 key and many more auxiliary air bases. The core combat capability of the Polish Air Force is concentrated in its tactical aviation units. The 1st Tactical Air Wing commands the 21st Tactical Air Base at Swidwin, the 22nd Tactical Air Base at Malbork, and the 23rd Tactical Air Base at Minsk-Mazowiecki. Complementing this, the 2nd Tactical Air Wing in Poznan oversees the 31st Tactical Air Base at Poznan-Kreszczyna and the 32nd Tactical Air Base at Lodz. Together, these fighter bases provide the backbone of Poland's air combat capability and its contribution to NATO air policing and regional deterrence. Supporting combat operations is the 3rd Transport Air Wing at Powice, which manages strategic and tactical airlift. Key units include the 33rd Transport Air Base at Powice and the 3rd Transport Air Base at Krakow. A variety of other auxiliary units exist, but we name the key ones for air combat and sustainment. Poland's air defense is anchored by the 3rd Air Defense Missile Brigade in Sohachev, which operates Patriot, PAC-3, and S-125 NEWA SC systems, providing both long and short-range coverage of vital areas. Airspace surveillance is conducted by the 3rd Radio Technical Brigade in Wrocław, employing aforementioned network of radars. The combat core of the force consists of 47 F-16CD Block 52 Plus multi-role fighters, divided between the 31st Tactical Air Base at Poznan and the 32nd Tactical Air Base at Lodz. These aircraft remain the backbone of Poland's Air Force, and in 2025, a contract was signed to modernize all of them to the Block 72 standard, though the upgrade work is planned for 2030 through 2038. Older Soviet Aerofighters, 14 MiG-29s, located primarily at Malbork, remain in limited service and with a clear intention to eventually transfer them to Ukraine, like the 14 already donated in 2023. In exchange, Poland acquired, once again, from South Korea, 12 light multi-role FA-50GF aircraft stationed at Minsk-Mazowiecki with 23 additional units on order. The 32nd Tactical Air Base at Lodz, whose airfield infrastructure was certified for F-35 operations at the end of 2025, is designated as the home of the 1st F-35 Squadron. As of early 2026, 10 F-35A Hussars aircraft have been completed by Lockheed Martin, with at least 11 more expected to be delivered during the year. The first 8 aircraft remain at Ebbing Air National Guard Base in Arkansas for pilot training and are expected to relocate to Poland after training concludes in the 3rd quarter of 2027. Aircraft from serial number 9 onward will be delivered directly to Poland, with the first in-country arrivals expected in 2026. All 32 aircraft are scheduled to be delivered by 2029 through 2030, forming 2 tactical squadrons. Poland also signed a $500 million contract in late 2025 for AIM-120D3 AMRAAM missiles, specifically for the F-35, though deliveries of these missiles are not expected until 2030 through 31, creating a notable capability gap in the early years of F-35 operations. Airborne early warning capability is provided by 2 Saab 340 AEW and C aircraft, which integrate with Poland's radar and air defense networks. Transport aviation is divided between the 3rd Transport Air Wing and smaller operational detachments, with C-130 Hercules, 8 aircraft, 2 on order, and CASA C-295M, 16 aircraft, providing tactical airlift, complemented by PZL M28 Skytruck, 23 aircraft for light transport. Rotary wing aviation, represented by Mi-2s, Mi-8s, and Mi-17s, as well as local helicopter variants, similar to the Army aviation of land forces. However, in the Air Force, they are used exclusively for logistics, rescue, and reconnaissance tasks. In conclusion, the Polish Air Force operates a modest number of combat aircraft, as even Ukraine, both before the war and after dozens of losses over the years of conflict, maintains a larger, though much older fleet. The argument can be made, especially with regard to the procurement of F-35s, that Poland aims for quality over quantity. However, if the war in Ukraine shows anything, it is that the ability to stay in the fight after losing dozens of aircraft, whether in the air or on bases, to missiles or drones, is just as critical as the quality of the fleet. Even after receiving all the ordered aircraft, the Polish Air Force alone will still not be able to afford any significant losses or achieve full air superiority, especially given the presence of Russian long-range air defenses and a much larger fighter fleet. It can also be argued that the purchase of F-35s might have been a mistake, as it introduces a more complex and expensive maintenance cycle. A more rational approach might have been to follow the Israeli model, first basing the fleet on a combination of F-15s and F-16s, and only afterwards beginning the transition to F-35s. F-15s could likely have been delivered to Poland much faster, in greater numbers, and for a similar or even lower price. They also use the same engines as the F-16, which would greatly simplify maintenance and logistics, while still being able to match or surpass Russian Su-30s and Su-35s thanks to their advanced radars. Instead, the Polish Air Force is left with F-16s as the backbone of the fleet, aircraft that will likely become increasingly obsolete even after the Block 72 upgrades are completed by 2038. And an even smaller number of future-proof but extremely slowly arriving F-35s, even though the latter will almost certainly be able to defeat Russian Su-30s and Su-35s in one-on-one combat. In reality, each Polish aircraft is likely to face several Russian 4th-generation jets equipped with dangerous radars and missiles. And as the war in Ukraine shows, the F-16s would likely be heavily restricted in their combat roles in this scenario too. The purchase of FA-50s is also a controversial choice, as these are trainer aircraft, with first and foremost, weak radars unable to match those in air superiority fighters. This effectively makes them useless against most of the Russian aircraft, unless the skies are fully cleared, for which Poland clearly lacks the capability in a full-scale conflict. Continuing with the Polish Navy, operational command hinges on the Seaborne Operations Center in Gdynia. Since Poland has access to only the Baltic Sea, its navy is mostly confined there, operating from 2 key naval bases in Gdynia and Świnoujście with 2 principal flotillas, which can also use 2 additional bases in Hel and Kolobrzeg. The 3rd Ship Flotilla includes the Submarine Division, operating the Orzel, a Soviet Kilo-class submarine, and the Combatant Ships Division, which fields key surface vessels such as 2 American Oliver Hazard Perry-class frigates and German Orkan-class missile corvettes Orkan, Piorun, and Grom. This flotilla also maintains smaller multi-role corvettes and coastal mine warfare vessels, ensuring coverage of Poland's northeastern maritime approaches. The 8th Coastal Defense Flotilla in Świnoujście commands the Navy's amphibious and mine countermeasure forces. It includes Lublin-class landing ships for troop and vehicle transport, multi-role support ships, and Gardno-class minesweepers, along with coastal mine hunters, providing both sea lift and mine warfare capability. Both flotillas are supported by dedicated naval air units. The Gwiazda Naval Aviation Brigade operates various shipborne helicopters, while the 44th Naval Air Base in Świnoujście and the Darłowo Air Group fly M28B 1R Bryza maritime patrol aircraft and additional helicopters, providing reconnaissance, submarine detection, and search and rescue coverage. Coastal missile and air defense is provided by the dedicated unit in Szemenrawiście, with naval strike missile batteries and short-range air defenses. Overall, the Polish Navy is likely the most problematic branch of the military. None of its legacy corvettes, attack craft, mine warfare, or landing ships have air defenses beyond autocannons, machine guns, and manpads, leaving them virtually unable to counter modern anti-ship missiles or drones. Even the Oliver Hazard Perry-class frigates are now obsolete and vulnerable to missile attacks despite possessing limited mid-range air defenses. Poland's first attempt to revitalize local shipbuilding came in 2001 with the Gowron-class corvette program, after 21 years of stagnation. After 10 more years, only the hull was partially completed when the shipyard went bankrupt. Originally intended to carry RIM 116 and RIM 162 SAMs and RBS-15 anti-ship missiles, the ship's armament was downgraded to a few autocannons and manpads, leaving it practically useless. The program was cancelled, and the ship saw just 4 years of active service after commissioning in 2019, before entering indefinite repairs in 2023. The second attempt began in 2011, alongside the construction of 6 Cormoran-class mine hunters. By 2025, all 6 ships were built, and 3 were in service, yet their role on the modern battlefield remains unclear. Armed with only an autocannon, a few machine guns, and manpads, they cannot defend against 2 key modern threats: missiles and sea drones. Their existence is partially justified because they were designed before the full-scale Russian invasion of Ukraine, when such threats were not as obvious. Refits of existing vehicles are not going much better. The Orzel, Poland's oldest Kilo-class submarine, built in 1986, is an expensive relic that cannot launch cruise missiles, leaving only torpedoes and sea mines as its weapons. Repairs from 2021 to 2024 were so unsuccessful that a critical diesel engine failure occurred in 2025, forcing a decision to decommission the boat. The ordered replacement, Swedish new Blekinge-class submarines, still have unclear construction timelines. On the bright side, after seeing the decimation of the Russian Black Sea Fleet, Poland followed Ukraine's example and invested in a standoff strike. Swedish RBS-15 Mark III and Norwegian naval strike missiles were acquired for both shipborne and coastal defense use, while indigenous sea drones like Storm Rider are under development, alongside mass production of Ukrainian-designed Seawolf UAVs in partnership with Ukraine and Norway. The 2022 decision to procure 3 locally built Mechanized multi-mission frigates based on the Arrowhead 140 design is another significant step forward. Unlike most current vessels, these frigates feature a 32-cell Mark 41 VLS, enabling meaningful self-defense with surface-to-air missiles. Initially cam short-range, but capable of future upgrades to Patriot PAC-3 or SM-3 advanced interceptors. The same VLS cells can also carry anti-submarine rockets or Tomahawk cruise missiles. Therefore, if completed, they are truly suited for modern naval warfare as multi-role assets. Construction of the first 2 out of 5 planned, now called Witcher-class frigates, began in 2023 and 2025. In conclusion, Poland currently operates a fairly diverse fleet, but very few of its ships are properly equipped to defend themselves against sea drones and missile attacks. It can be argued that many of these vessels, such as corvettes and mine warfare ships, were never intended to carry robust air defense systems. However, this highlights a deeper problem. Poland also lacks larger surface combatants capable of providing them with adequate air defense cover. And if these smaller ships are not meant to operate in contested environments, it raises the question of what realistic combat role they can perform. Our main point is that a modern navy should either field ships that can independently defend themselves, particularly with medium to long-range air defense systems, fully integrated with onboard sensors, or ensure that vessels only operate alongside a core fleet that can protect them. In the Polish Navy today, all the ships cannot reliably defend themselves from missile threats, nor can they defend each other, which severely limits their ability to operate in wartime conditions. In conflict with Russia, these vulnerabilities will not allow Poland to deal with the Baltic Fleet, which can use the sea to first and foremost launch caliber cruise missiles, as well as shoot down planes. Poland's Special Troops Command is the dedicated special operations branch of the Polish Armed Forces. It commands elite units including GROM, JW, Command Azov, JW Formosa, JW AGAT, and JW NIL. Supported by the Special Operations Aviation Unit, unlike almost all other branches of the military, the units are actively adopting drones in their training, which is a positive sign. The similar adoption processes in regular land forces are significantly slower, and drones on battalion level are still almost non-existent, same as our counter-drone tactics. The Polish Border Guard, including its Maritime Border Guard component, has 14,000 men and is responsible for securing Poland's land and sea frontiers, and fields a fleet of roughly 20 to 25 aircraft and helicopters used for border surveillance, maritime patrol, and search and rescue operations, alongside a large pool of patrol and off-road vehicles for land monitoring and around 14 light patrol ships. In terms of space capabilities, Poland is still developing this sector. Since joining the European Space Agency in 2012, Polish companies and research institutions have taken part in major European missions while also building their own satellites, including Earth observation systems such as Eagle Eye and the Piast constellation, both of which are already deployed in orbit in 2024 and 2025. Militarily, Poland is investing in independent intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance through synthetic aperture radar (SAR), satellites, and high-resolution imaging systems, along with secure satellite communications under EU programs. Now we can discuss some specific capabilities that may not be obvious on a large military scale, but can have a deep influence on how the war proceeds. Poland currently has a solid inventory of true deep strike weapons. Its ground launch capability is centered on roughly 75 ATACMS tactical ballistic missiles, which can strike targets at ranges of up to 300 kilometers. In addition, Poland is building a much larger air-launched deep strike capability through the acquisition of several hundred AGM-158 JASSM-ER cruise missiles, which can reach targets at roughly 1,000 kilometers when launched from F-16s. Together, with about 100 regular JASSMs and a 370-kilometer range, these systems give Poland a growing but still finite capacity to conduct long-range precision strikes. Poland currently also operates 24 Bayraktar TB2s and has on order 3 MQ-9B Sky Guardians, but these are so-called mail drones. Expensive, well-armed, but currently too susceptible to air defenses, as the war in Ukraine eventually showed. So, let's talk about the drones that are actually the contemporary game changer, FPVs. Poland began working on military drones surprisingly early, but the sector has suffered from chronic underinvestment for most of its history. Poland has actually been an early player in the heavy loitering munitions class, producing the Rearmament drone domestically since 2016. Its capabilities are broadly comparable to systems like Switchblade, Lancet, or Bulava UAVs. Limited combat use, such as in Ukraine, has shown effectiveness against high-value and soft targets. However, Rearmant's high per-unit cost, around $30,000, meant it was initially deployed only to Ukrainian defense intelligence units, while cheaper FPV alternatives, under $1,000 with similar 30-kilometer ranges, were produced in the millions and had a much larger impact. Moreover, Poland's planned acquisition is modest, only 10,000 Rearmants by 2035, roughly 1,000 per year. WB Electronics, the manufacturer, also produces reconnaissance UAVs, most notably the Fly-Eye fixed-wing drone, used actively in Ukraine since 2015. While effective, production has been extremely limited, with only about 1,000 units made as of 2024. Modern militaries require orders of magnitude more UAVs to replace losses and maintain persistent surveillance. Foreign systems, such as ScanEagle, Orbiter, and Blackjack, complement these indigenous drones, but their numbers remain in the dozens at most. However, since late 2024, Poland has begun addressing this gap with structural changes that go beyond mere procurement. On January 1, 2025, Poland formally established the Inspectorate of Unmanned Weapons System Forces within the General Command of the Armed Forces, making it one of the first NATO countries to create a dedicated drone branch. The Inspectorate oversees directorates for Air Force, Land Forces, Navy, and counter-drone systems, with the explicit goal of integrating drones across all units and domains. In March 2026, Poland launched the Autonomous Systems Center in Warsaw, bringing together military institutes, defense industry, and civilian researchers to accelerate the development and mass production of combat-ready unmanned platforms. Among the most notable projects is a domestically designed deep strike drone with a range of approximately 900 kilometers, intended as a mass-producible strike platform comparable to the Iranian Shahed. Initial testing of multiple autonomous systems is scheduled to begin in April of 2026. The financial commitment has also shifted dramatically. In 2025, the entire volume of investments into drones was only $55 million. By 2026, planned funding for unmanned and autonomous systems skyrocketed to $6.7 billion. Perhaps the single most significant step was the signing of the SAN anti-drone system contract on January 30th, 2026, a deal worth approximately 15 billion zloty, or $4.2 billion, between the Polish Armaments Agency and a consortium of PGZ and Norwegian Kongsberg. SAN will field 18 counter-UAS batteries, comprising 18 command platoons, 52 fire platoons, and roughly 703 vehicles based on Yelch and leg van truck platforms. The fire platoons are designed to autonomously detect, classify, and destroy drones using a layered mix of 35mm and 30mm autocannons, 12.7mm heavy machine guns, 70mm laser-guided APKWS rockets, interceptor drones, and electronic warfare effectors. Yet, despite its impressive scale, the SAN contract raises significant questions when viewed through the lens of the Russo-Ukrainian War, the only real-world laboratory for counter-drone warfare at industrial scale. The core of SAN is built around Kongsberg's Protector remote weapon stations, a platform with over 25,000 units delivered worldwide, but designed primarily as a vehicle-mounted weapon system, not as a dedicated counter-drone solution. Kongsberg does claim some battlefield data through its Typhon system, which has been used in Ukraine in limited numbers, but the company's actual combat experience in countering mass drone attacks, particularly FPV swarms, fiber-optic guided drones, and coordinated mixed salvos of cruise missiles and decoys, remains thin compared to what Ukrainian and Russian forces have been learning through daily attrition for over 3 years. The cost-effectiveness problem is also hard to ignore. Ukraine learned this lesson the hard way and has increasingly shifted towards interceptor drones costing $2,000 to $5,000 apiece, essentially using cheap drones to kill other cheap drones, which preserves expensive missiles for higher value targets like cruise and ballistic missiles. SAN does include interceptor drones as one of its effector types, but they are listed alongside cannons and rockets rather than as the central element of the system, suggesting that the architecture was designed more as a traditional air defense adaptation than as a purpose-built answer to mass drone warfare. Then there is the electronic warfare dimension. SAN includes EW effectors, but the war in Ukraine has shown that electronic warfare against drones is a constantly shifting arms race. When Ukrainian forces began jamming standard FPV frequencies, both sides rapidly transitioned to frequency hopping protocols, and by 2025, fiber-optic guided drones, which trail a physical cable instead of using radio links, became a common sight on the battlefield, rendering radio frequency jamming completely useless against them. Ukraine, which has over 50 companies specializing in electronic warfare manufacturing and iterates on new solutions in weeks rather than years, still struggles to keep pace. Whether a system designed in Norway and assembled in Poland without continuous frontline feedback loops can stay relevant in this environment is an open question. The €2 billion Eastern Shield program is also part of this broader effort, aiming to integrate kinetic and non-kinetic counter-UAS capabilities into a fortified defensive line along Poland's eastern border. Yet, as the war in Ukraine has demonstrated, static defenses remain vulnerable to artillery, glide bombs, and saturation attacks, especially placed on the very border. SAN, being vehicle-mounted and mobile, is better suited to this logic than fixed installations, but whether the planned 18 batteries will be sufficient to cover Poland's roughly 700 kilometers of eastern frontier remains doubtful, especially when Russia has demonstrated the ability to launch over 350 strike drones in a single night. Overall, the lack of real combat experience, common to all European countries, is shared by Poland. Despite significant involvement of land forces units and special operations forces in Iraq and Afghanistan, too much time has passed for that experience to be fully relevant to a drone-saturated, high-intensity conventional war. However, due to its proximity to Ukraine, Poland has a unique opportunity, only partially exercised, to gain experience from its battle-hardened neighbor. One notable example of cooperation is Ukraine providing training for intercepting drones after attacks, as well as multiple initiatives within the NATO-Ukraine Joint Analysis, Training, and Education Center in Bydgoszcz. Poland, on the other hand, provides military aid that in many cases allows it to test its armaments or dispose of old ones for free, and also serves as a key supply hub for all other aid provided. This itself is a great advantage, as Poland is the strongest country in Europe when it comes to coordinated military logistics by road and railroad, even leveraging air-supplied aid through the Rzeszów base. This key checkpoint is one of the examples of not only the coordination of efforts with Ukraine, but also with other NATO countries, as it has at different times hosted American, German, Norwegian, and Dutch air defense systems. Overall, the foreign troop presence in Poland fluctuates around 10,000 US soldiers and 2,000 from other countries. Even though these regularly participate in various exercises, supported by multinational air components, and have heavy equipment at their disposal, most of the bases are placed practically on the western border, and the contingent size is quite small for large-scale conflict or even meaningful deterrence. Here we should briefly explain why we place so little emphasis on this component of defense. After all, NATO is commonly presented as the ultimate deterrent against potential Russian aggression. In our view, this assumption has become increasingly dangerous, and the scale of Polish rearmament suggests that Warsaw understands this as well. First, the US, whose troops constitute the backbone of NATO forces deployed in Poland, have clearly signaled a shift in strategic priorities. The U.S. national security strategy openly redirects focus towards the Indo-Pacific. While troop numbers in Europe have so far remained relatively stable, this could change rapidly, and in the event of a major conflict, redeployment elsewhere cannot be ruled out. NATO as a whole is also known not only for divisions between the United States and other members, but for extremely slow decision-making. Bureaucratic procedures, even those related to Article 5, guarantee little more than prolonged consultations, with each member ultimately deciding independently whether and to what extent it will provide assistance. This is not a hard security guarantee. It is a political mechanism that only worked reliably when backed by unquestioned commitment from key NATO members. Even if a full NATO response were to materialize, its immediate impact would be limited mostly to the air and maritime domains. On land, the Polish armed forces would be the first and, for a significant time, the only force fully engaged in combat. As a concrete example, Russia concentrated roughly 150,000 troops to capture a single Ukrainian town, Pokrovsk, and sustained that force for over a year despite catastrophic losses. This grouping alone is twice the size of the entire British Army's land forces, and roughly comparable to the French Army's ground component. And this was done for a relatively short sector of the front line. If Russia were to abandon one of its objectives in Ukraine and redeploy such a force towards Poland, how long would NATO realistically need to coordinate, assemble, and deploy a battle-ready equivalent multinational ground force to deter it? By any reasonable estimate, the answer is months in the best-case scenario. For these reasons, we do not consider NATO a decisive factor in the immediate defense of Poland in the event of an attack. The reality is that Article 5 has never been meaningfully tested, and therefore, its practical mechanisms remain uncertain. In such conditions, ambiguity itself becomes a risk. But precisely for that reason, preparing for the worst remains the most rational strategy. Exactly in line with that strategy, Poland has also been expanding its domestic military-industrial complex. All firms involved, numbering over 50, are centered around the state-owned Polska Grupa Zbrojeniowa conglomerate. Despite a very significant boost in recent years, domestic production still accounts for only around 30% of the armament used by the Polish armed forces, and arguably is reaching its limits. The goal, of course, is not to reach 100% self-sufficiency, but to be able to conduct full-cycle maintenance of most equipment domestically and to produce the most critical systems and ammunition in the required quantities. Starting with something relatively simple, such as 155mm artillery shells, the NATO standard, Poland aims to produce over 150,000 shells annually by 2028. This is a modest figure, considering that Ukraine, for example, consumes around 2 million 155mm shells per year in active combat. On the other hand, Nitrochem, the largest TNT producer in Europe, is located in Poland, which in theory should allow production to be scaled up relatively quickly. Moving to small arms, by 2026, Poland aims to supply 100,000 domestically produced Grot assault rifles, which, given the size of the army, is a solid number. The same applies to domestically produced sniper rifles, machine guns, and other infantry equipment, with the notable exception of grenade launchers, which remain mostly foreign. As with artillery, however, Poland can produce only limited quantities of small caliber ammunition, around 250 million rounds annually, which is generally considered modest. That said, both 155mm shells and small arms ammunition are relatively easy to procure internationally, so this limitation may not be that critical. When it comes to drones, as already mentioned, WB Electronics is not a new player in this field, but it clearly faces serious challenges, most likely related to financing. Industrial-scale FPV drone production has yet to be established, which is perhaps the most disappointing shortfall. At the same time, Poland does have a relatively solid domestic truck production base. Jelcz produces multi-purpose military trucks, provides fully local chassis for many of the systems discussed earlier, and manufactures logistics vehicles, as well as specialized tank and ammunition transporters. According to some estimates, production capacity was recently increased from approximately 100 to 500 trucks per year, with around 1,500 units already delivered to the Polish armed forces. The core of the industry remains Huta Stylowa Wola, which we already mentioned, with massive orders ranging from artillery systems to Poland's first fully domestic IFV. It receives the largest share of funding and can conveniently rely on production licenses obtained from South Korea. The most important localization effort is the K2PL tank, with production of 820 vehicles scheduled to begin in 2026 and split between Poland and South Korea. While concerns remain about how this equipment will perform in real combat and about the lack of battle-tested FPV countermeasures, the scale of the company's expansion is still impressive. Finally, Poland has localized production of CAM-ER missiles for the Naru air defense system, originally developed by MBDA. So far, however, only a contract for 1,000 missiles has been signed, with unclear timelines, suggesting slow adoption of more complex technologies. In contrast, the domestically produced PO-run manpads have been far more successful, with enough produced to allow deliveries to Ukraine, where the system demonstrated solid performance. Ukraine remains a major buyer of Polish equipment, with long-term contracts for PO-run manpads, Rosomak IFVs, Krab self-propelled howitzers, and Grot rifles. All of these procurement programs naturally have a major impact on the economy. A key vulnerability lies in how this record level of defense spending is financed. Around 37% of total defense expenditures are expected to be covered through debt issued by the Armed Forces Support Fund, meaning that a large portion of Poland's rearmament is funded on credit rather than through the regular state budget. As a result, the fund's total debt could reach nearly $47 billion by the end of 2026, with repayment largely falling on the state budget between 2027 and 2031. This raises concerns that servicing past defense loans could crowd out future modernization, even if some pressure is alleviated by EU instruments such as the SAFE program, which allows for longer repayment periods. Now we move on to the conclusions. First of all, despite its length, this breakdown aims first and foremost to capture the big picture, more specifically, a snapshot of the Polish armed forces as of the beginning of 2026. Some notable details were inevitably left out, and you can point them out in the comments. As already mentioned at the beginning, the Polish army is modernizing and transforming at an extremely fast pace, which makes it particularly difficult to analyze at this moment. Our assumption is that the grand plan is to fully rearm by the end of the decade, replacing all Soviet systems, not with direct equivalents, but with a much larger number of modern platforms. Moreover, the intention is that the majority of this equipment should be produced domestically, with the remainder at least being fully repairable and maintainable inside Poland. For this reason, we start with the current state of affairs and only then briefly look into the future to assess what may happen if these ambitious plans are realized. Currently, Poland is on track to become the strongest land army in Europe, preparing for a confrontation with Russia either on its own territory or on the territory of its allies, with a classical land warfare framework. Cooperation with South Korea has already enriched the Polish armed forces with enough modern mechanized and armored assets to rival Russia, which has largely burned through its previously superior armored forces in Ukraine. However, this does not imply a return to maneuver warfare, blitzkriegs, or deep armored thrusts. The war in Ukraine has fundamentally changed what a Russian ground offensive looks like, and the result is something that Poland's current force structure is poorly suited to counter. By 2025, the standard Russian assault pattern no longer relies on armored columns or even organized platoons. Instead, hundreds of two-man infantry teams infiltrate simultaneously across a broad front, probing for gaps and weak points. Before they move, dozens of FPV drones are spent clearing the immediate area, hunting defensive positions, machine gun nests, and individual soldiers. Hundreds more are used to disable or destroy any armored vehicles that attempt to intervene, targeting optics, tracks, and hatches with $500 drones against vehicles worth millions. These expendable assault groups then push into the gaps that the drones have opened. If one team is destroyed, another follows. This arithmetic is brutal but effective. Russia can afford to lose dozens of two-man teams and hundreds of drones to gain a single tree line or a few hundred meters of front line. The defenders, meanwhile, lose vehicles, fortified positions, and trained crews that are far harder to replace. Poland's 900 modern tanks, however capable on paper, face this reality directly. At roughly $500 per drone against a $15 million K2 or Abrams, the economics are devastating. The K2PL's planned trophy active protection and counter-UAS features could partially mitigate this, but the first 64 are not expected until 2028, and the hundreds of K2GF and Abrams already in service have no such protection. The same applies to Borsuk IFVs and self-propelled artillery. Every vehicle that emits heat, sound, or radio signals is a target that Russia's drone networks, refined through 3 years of continuous combat, can detect and engage within minutes. Poland has a solid artillery arm, which would nevertheless almost certainly lack sufficient shells and rockets to sustain large-scale combat for months without rapid external resupply. But artillery alone cannot stop hundreds of dispersed two-man assault groups. Neither can aviation. This is not a threat that mail drones like the Bayraktar TB2, which proved too vulnerable to air defenses within weeks of the full-scale invasion, nor manned aircraft, even with full NATO air support, can effectively solve. The targets are too small, too numerous, too fast-moving, and too close to friendly positions for conventional air power to make a decisive difference. The only force that has demonstrated the ability to consistently counter this tactic is Ukraine, and it does so not with tanks or aircraft, but by creating drone kill zones, dense, overlapping networks of FPV operators and reconnaissance drones that cover every meter of the front, detecting and destroying assault groups before they can consolidate. This is not a supplementary capability. It is the primary mechanism by which the front line is held. Without it, no amount of armor, artillery, or air support has proven sufficient, and the air situation would compound this problem. If NATO, and especially the United States, does not immediately provide overwhelming support, the Polish Air Force would not be destroyed, but almost certainly pushed into a defensive posture. And as of 2026, the United States is simultaneously managing Iran, a deepening strategic competition with China in the Pacific, and growing domestic pressure to reduce overseas commitments. A European land war would be competing for attention, assets, and political will against at least one, and possibly two, other active or near-active theaters. Even if Washington chose to intervene immediately, repositioning fighter squadrons, tanker aircraft, AWACS, and suppression of enemy air defense packages to Polish air bases would take weeks at minimum. During that window, Poland would face the Russian aerospace forces essentially alone. Due to the shortage in pure air superiority fighters, Poland's ability to contest airspace would be severely constrained. Russia's Western Military District and Baltic Fleet Aviation alone field several hundred combat aircraft, including Su-30SM, Su-35S, and Su-34 strike fighters, supported by S-400 batteries in Kaliningrad, capable of denying airspace over much of northern Poland without a single Russian aircraft even taking off. Even accounting for the degradation Russia has suffered in Ukraine, the numerical mismatch remains stark. Poland's roughly 50 combat-ready fighters, less than even Ukraine's fleet, against potentially hundreds of Russian aircraft, backed by a layered ground-based air defense network that the Polish Air Force has no dedicated capability to suppress. The F-35s, when fully operational, will provide a qualitative edge in individual engagements, but a fleet of 32 aircraft cannot sustain 24-hour combat air patrols over Polish territory, absorb losses, and simultaneously conduct offensive counter-air missions. Air defenses, which are still insufficient, would also struggle against drone swarms and sometimes ballistic missiles, capable of inflicting serious damage on military production facilities, air bases, and command posts. Moreover, there is no clear evidence that Poland is building deep interceptor stockpiles. Production rates of Patriot PAC-3 and CAM missiles lag far behind Russia's demonstrated capacity to produce in large numbers ballistic, cruise missiles, and, most critically, long-range drones, apparently poorly identifiable by the Polish radars. As a result, simply fielding more air defense systems as Poland plans, without addressing interceptor availability and cheaper anti-drone measures, is not going to bring the expected results. On the Baltic Sea, the situation would not be any better. Due to the lack of meaningful air defenses on current Polish naval vessels, the airspace above the Baltic would become a convenient launch corridor for missile strikes by aircraft and submarines, directly threatening mainland Poland. Taken together, these factors would likely push it into a type of war similar to what Ukraine is fighting today, but without a decisive drone advantage. While this scenario is far from catastrophic, it is clearly not preferable. However, by the end of the decade, the situation may change, but only if a few conditions are met. By that time, the Polish armed forces are likely to grow further in numbers and receive the bulk of their planned modern equipment, including advanced aircraft, additional IFVs, and K2PL tanks, equipped with active protection systems against drones. Supported by a new radar network and denser SAM systems, as well as deep strike drone countermeasures such as interceptor drones, Poland may be able to build a truly multi-layered air defense over most of its territory. The border will also likely be reinforced with fortifications and area denial measures, such as, first and foremost, a large number of anti-personnel landmines. The Baltic Sea may also become less dangerous, with the introduction of frigates equipped with real air defenses, rather than relying on machine guns and manpads, adding an additional defensive layer from the north. At the same time, if the Polish armed forces do not prioritize specific equipment variants and standardize them early, they risk creating a totally avoidable logistical, training, and production burden. The key remaining question is drones. Despite being an early player in the field, Poland has yet to achieve the scale of production and integration of FPVs into missions required for modern warfare. This, in turn, also means that anti-drone capabilities such as UAV detectors, as well as individual and brigade-level electronic warfare systems, lag behind Russia and Ukraine. As drones continue to evolve into multi-purpose battlefield tools, the quality and quantity of all the systems introduced will largely determine how effectively Poland can exploit its significant armored advantage on land. For now, and with each year of rapid drone evolution, this question remains increasingly open. And not just for Poland, but for each and every other NATO member. The breakdown of any of which you can suggest in the comments.